In part 1 of our Southwest road trip, we started by sloshing through the Narrows in Zion National Park. Our feet may have been cold in that water, but that was just the beginning. The next day, we hiked through the first snowfall of the season in Bryce Canyon. We were thrilled to drive through Cathedral Valley in Capitol Reef National Park, as well as some nearby sites like Moonscape Overlook. We ended part 1 in the city of Moab, going off-roading and being dwarfed by the Corona Arch at sunrise. Join us now in part 2 of our trip, where we'll see some more iconic places, scramble through a maze of rocks, ride horses, and much more. On the drive to Mesa Arch, the outside temperature read as low as 12 degrees. This was going to be a cold sunrise. We made sure to bundle up though, and we were well rewarded for our efforts. A beautiful place to see the sunrise. Afterwards, we drove back out of Canyonlands to the nearby Dead Horse State Park. It's kind of amazing that this stunning area isn't part of a national park. The view from Dead Horse Point is highlighted by a sharp curve in the Colorado River in the canyon below. Later in the day, we'll actually stop right at that spot. In fact, let's just show you how we got there on the Shafer Trail road. At the beginning, it's nice and flat, but soon you're starting to head down and you're a mere feet from the edge of a sheer drop into the canyon below. And before you know it, you've made it to the switchbacks. There was still some snow in spots, which understandably made Jessica especially nervous, which you can see as she had her mouth covered by her jacket for most of the drive. Honestly, my heart was pumping too, but I knew we were safe the entire time. Once we made it to the bottom of the canyon, we got out to look back up at where we had just come from. Jessica expressed her joy by practically kissing the ground. Not far from there, you actually leave the national park on this road, and we were able to get some drone shots around that bend in the Colorado River. We also drove right past where Thelma and Louise drove off the cliff at the end of their movie, although we didn't realize it until later. We began our day in Arches National Park by watching the sunrise at Balance Rock, after which we hiked the 1.6 miles to the famous Delicate Arch. We drove around to a few other spots, including Double Arch, and the snow-covered Landscape Arch, which is the longest arch in the world. But the main event for this day was still to come. The Fiery Furnace is one of the more unique hikes you will ever do. If you ever wanted to get lost in a maze of huge sandstone walls, with sections where you have to shimmy through narrow passages, where you're constantly scrambling your way over boulders, then this is the hike for you. The official hike is only about 2.1 miles, but you can explore through a ton of offshoots and dead ends, so the hike can be as long or as short as you want it to be. We didn't have a ton of time, so we didn't do a lot of exploring, but one of the dead ends you absolutely have to explore if you go there is the one that leads to Surprise Arch, seen here. The next morning found us in Valley of the Gods, which some would call a smaller version of Monument Valley. It was a really cool drive, and we saw some amazing buttes, including Castle Butte, and the Lady in the Bathtub. Just up the road from there is Goosenecks State Park, which has one of the most impressive views of the wandering San Juan River. We also made a quick stop at the aptly named Mexican Hat Rock, which looks very much like a man wearing a sombrero. And just about an hour southwest from there, we finally arrived at one of the most iconic spots in the U.S., Monument Valley, and specifically what is known as Forrest Gump Point. And of course, I had to do my own, admittedly poor, reenactment. I'm feeling pretty tired. I think I'll go home now. This day ended with a memorable horse ride through part of the valley. And the next morning we took a quick drive to check out the famous John Ford Point, where many a Western movie was filmed, including now this Shaw Adventures production. Thanks for watching as always. Please like and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. Stay tuned for part 3.